Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I grew up in Chipinge, a place, as you know, that has its own traditions and beliefs. As a young man, I was always chasing the next dollar, dreaming of a life beyond my own village. I married my wife, whom I'll call Rudo, a kind and a gentle woman who stood by me through the toughest times. But my desire for wealth grew stronger and stronger each and every day, and I was more than willing to do everything for money. So it was in 2009 when a friend introduced me to a Sangoma. This Sangoma was from Mozambique. He was known for his powerful rituals that was bringing people wealth. The reason as to why this man had came to our village, it was because a very long time ago there had been a murder that had taken place, and that man who had been killed, they had removed his private parts, and people were saying that those private parts, they were being used somewhere in a business by someone. So it got me so interested because I had heard about these stories when we were growing up, but I had never witnessed them personally. So this man, when I heard that he was around, I then went to see him, because this man, he had built a very small tent where he was staying. All that you could do was to go inside that tent, and then he will consult with you. And this man, when I went there, he asked me if I wanted to be rich. I said yes. He then said that I was not yet ready. I was hurt, Brother Nashi. He told me to go to Harare to look for a job. If I was going to do the things that he had told me to do, then everything that I wanted was going to happen. He told me where to find him after I would have gotten a job in Harare. He explained that the reason as to why I could not get rich at that time, it was because my heart was not yet strong and I had not yet found the person that I was supposed to sacrifice. He instructed me to divorce my wife, and I was really hurt because as for Rudo, I really loved her. That was when I got divorced from my wife, and I then left my village and I came to Harare. When I came to Harare, I then started working. Since I did not have any experience at all, that was when I started working as a security guard. Whilst I was working as a security guard, I then met this other woman who was working as a maid. This woman, she was from Malawi, and she was working as a maid at this other house close to the place where I was working. So, Brother Nashi, I then started talking with that woman, and I then proposed love to that woman, and she then agreed. This woman, she trusted me completely. She told me that since she did not have any relatives in Zim, and ever since she had came from her country in Malawi, she had not yet returned back to Malawi. So she wanted someone whom she could trust. If I was going to be with her, I was supposed to be with her for life, and we were supposed to have kids together, so that at least she can have her own relatives, saying that from now on, now that I have a man, if you impregnate me, at least if we have 5 kids, I know that the time that I will be old, my kids will be the ones that will be able to bury me, since I do not have any relatives at all. So I started staying with her. We stayed together. We had our first child. Then the second child, that was when I just felt that I needed to go to Mozambique. It was like a spirit just came and possessed me and told me that I was supposed to go to Mozambique. Well, after I had gotten some money, I ran away from that woman that I was staying with in Harare, and I went to Mozambique. I really do not know what happened, because I went straight to that traditional healer's house. When I went there, he then gave me a charm, and he told me that this charm that he was going to give me, the charm, it was going to get my wife killed. And I then asked him, why was my wife supposed to get killed? He said, have you forgotten about the deal that we made that you are supposed to make money? And I told you that when you are ready, you will know that you are ready. Now I know that you are in that position where you are ready. I was told that when I would return back home, I was supposed to place those charms in an area where my wife was not going to see them. But when she would be fast asleep, she was supposed to be close to those charms. I arrived back home. We had a very big fight with my wife, asking me where I had gone to. I was happy when she said that she thought that maybe I had gone to visit another woman. I then lied to her that indeed I wanted to take a second wife, and she said that she was not going to sit around whilst waiting for me to take another wife. She said that she wanted to walk away. I was happy because I had already seen that it seemed as if the charms were working, because the healer had told me that there is not going to be any peace anymore in your marriage. She's going to act like someone who is about to lose her mind, and that is where I want her. So I then looked for a place where I could place the charms where she was not going to see them. When she was not at home, that was when I cut the mattress open just a little bit, and I pushed the charms into the mattress on the side of the bed where she used to sleep in. And I had been told that for about a week I was supposed to leave the charms in there. After that was done, I then removed the charms just like the Sangoma had told me. I went and I dumped those charms in a river, and then I returned back home. When I returned back home, I saw that my son, he was crying. I asked him where his mother was, but he could not tell me where his mother was. We looked for the mother for a couple of days, went to the police, and she was nowhere to be found. I then had a dream. It was that Sangoma who was telling me that I was supposed to quickly rush back to Mozambique. I took my son and I left my son in my village in Chipinge. I crossed the border and I went to Mozambique. When I arrived in Mozambique at the traditional healer's place, that was when he took out a glass bottle that had a woman's private part. The skin on the woman's private part, that was what I saw. So this woman's private part, it even had the pubic hair and everything. So this private part was inside that glass bottle that was full of water that had the herbs. I think the herbs and the water were making that private part to remain fresh until I had arrived at the Sangoma's house. And after that, that was when the Sangoma told me that everything that I was looking at, it once belonged to my wife. I said, what do you mean? They told me that some things had to be done, and he had called her using some charms, and she had died. And after she had died in Mozambique, then they removed the skin on her private part, and I was supposed to eat everything. Brother Nashi, that was what I was told. The Sangoma, as he was speaking with me, he opened the glass bottle and he asked for a plate to be brought in the consultation room, and he just poured everything into that plate. I looked at my late wife's private part, the pubic hair and everything. It just seemed nasty, but he told me that if I wanted to be rich, I had to do it. Brother Nashi, I started eating. I ate and I ate, and even though I felt like I could not do it, but I pushed myself. After I was done, he told me that I was going to make a lot of money. And when I returned back to my country, then I started to do this thing of illegal gold mining. From there on, I started making money. I opened up a small gold mine here in Zim. I later got married and I had kids with the woman that I later got married to. But she does not even know that a rich husband, this is what a rich husband had to do. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo.